Hey, what's going on everyone? Entering Infinity here. Today I'm back with a brand new video to discuss episode 3 of Bleach's 1000-Year Blood War anime. So this episode I really want to touch on the three major parts of the episode. The first part we're going to talk about is Ichigo's battle against Stern Ritter J in Hueco Mundo. The second part I want to talk about is the conversation between Mayuri and Head Captain Yamamoto. And the third thing I want to discuss is the actual start of the war. So starting with number 1, the episode picks up where we left off, where Ichigo is engaging in the battle with Stern Ritter J in Hueco Mundo. For Stern Ritter J was just like massacring all the hollows and Arancars. Then Ichigo shows up to try to stop him. They start getting into their battle, and Ichigo seems to have the upper hand in his Shikai, when all of a sudden this huge fist comes out of nowhere and just punches Stern Ritter J in the face and sends him flying. And it turns out that Ion is back, and Head Captain Yamamoto incinerated it back in the day, and apparently they could summon it again. The three beasts, the three girls from the last episode that got killed seemingly, but they actually weren't killed, and then they got back up and they summoned Ion when they give up their left arms to unite their energy, and they create this giant monster beast. I just thought it was really funny because it reminded me of Avengers when the Hulk started smashing Loki around like a rag doll. That's what it reminded me of, because Ion was just absolutely beating the out of Stern Ritter J, and it was just absolutely hilarious. And Ichigo was just standing there what the heck, and then it's just absolutely wailing on him. But then we see that the Stern Ritter J then activates its ability where he starts absorbing all the reishi, very similarly to how Uryu did that when in the Invasion of the Soul Society arc, when he activated his full power and he started absorbing all of the reishi in the Soul Society. It was very reminiscent of that, because we see Orihime's shield starts getting absorbed, everything starts getting absorbed away that's energy based, and we see his Volsandig just start absorbing everything, and then Ion ends up being part of his design, where his angelic form now has these ugly hideous aspects that Ion had. His eyes were in the wings, and his body was all in a Rancor, and it was really creepy, and he just absorbed so much power, and now he's just going to be on a whole nother level than he was before. So then Ichigo realizes that he can't mess around anymore. We find out that he activated his Bankai, and he comes flying in to attack. So now this fight's about to get a whole lot more interesting. This fight in particular, I happen to not remember the details about from the manga, so it feels like it's brand new again for me, so I'm really happy about that. Kind of just makes it all the more fun, and which is a big part of the reason why I never went back to read the manga a second time, because I wanted enough time to go by so that when the anime finally came out, that it would feel fresh, and it was like watching it again for the first time. So I'm actually really happy I don't remember exactly what happens in every single part, so it's really exciting to kind of have this be fresh again, as if it was for the first time. But I definitely thought it was really interesting, and really curious to see kind of how this fight is going to play out. And we find out that Urahara wasn't actually there. He was helping Pesce get Don de Chaka, because of course Urahara always seems to be away when all the big fights are going down, because we just all want to see him fight, and there's just always an excuse as to why he's not involved. But that'll pay off itself later. But for now, he's not involved, and it's just Ichigo holding it down. But yeah, that was pretty much that part. And then I want to talk about the Soul Society part. First, we'll start with the head captain meeting, which I absolutely love those so much. I always wish we get to see more of that, because me personally, the Soul Society aspect of Bleach is my favorite. I love the captains and kind of the politics of the Gote 13 more than I even like Ichigo and his storyline. So I'm always interested in those parts, and I always wish we can get more and more of that content. So I really love seeing the captains meeting. It picks up where we left off, where they find out that they're Quincy's, and the head captain Yamamoto just completely pops off, and he's everyone get ready for war, all squads gear up, we're not messing around. They say they're coming in 5 days, but they could come any day now. And Mayuri says that he doesn't know where they're located, so they can't really go on the offensive, so all they could do is gear up for war and just get ready to go, because it could happen at any moment. So that was really awesome moment. And then kind of they cut to all the different captains' faces, so that was really cool to see. And then the other major part was when head captain Yamamoto calls Mayuri into his office for a one-on-one, well, what's left of his office that's blown in half, and he confronts Mayuri as to why all those people from the Rukon district mysteriously disappeared, that we had seen Ikaku kind of investigating with his squad in the previous episode. And we come to learn that it was Mayuri and his squad 12 that went and just absolutely murdered 28,000 souls so that they could rebalance the souls in the Soul Society with the souls in the world of the living, because when that goes out of balance, the two worlds could collapse on each other and just everything would be destroyed. So he had to take decisive action. He went and had to go murder like 28,000 innocent people, which is crazy. But according to Mayuri, that's a small price to pay for the two worlds completely collapsing on each other and everyone getting killed. And head Captain Yamamoto was like, look, you should have came to me about it and I would have pretty much greenlighted it if it was that bad, but you shouldn't be doing that shit behind my back. And Mayuri just completely clapped back so hard. It was like, this is your fault. He's like, I warned you about this years ago, since Uryu Ishida was one of the Ryoka that invaded the Soul Society. He's like, I told you this was going to happen. You didn't listen to me. And this all even stems back 1,000 years ago because you couldn't kill Yuhavak, and now we're in this situation. So don't come after me. And I was like sitting there like, damn, he just lit up Head Captain Yamamoto so hard. And for the first time ever, like, Head Captain Yamamoto had nothing to say back. And I just sat there and I was like, damn, I cannot believe the way he just spoke to him and he didn't even get in trouble for that. So like that was like absolutely insane. But like, you know, good for Mayuri standing up for himself, but like I've never seen anyone talk that much to Captain Yamamoto and get away with it. So I just thought that was like one of the highlights of the episode, because I love that interaction. And then finally at the end of the episode we get the first wave of the invasion of the Stern Ritter, and I just feel like the pacing is just going like so fast. To me that's fine as long as we spend more time fleshing out the parts that need to get fleshed out, like all the battles that are about to go down, because so many battles are about to happen and so many of them happen off screen in the manga, and I'm hoping that this fast pacing is going to help flesh out those battles with all the new stuff that we didn't get to see before and kind of fleshing out what we did see before. So I'm okay with that pacing as long as that's the case, but I'm just hoping that this whole series doesn't feel like it's this rushed, because it is moving very quickly. But we see these gigantic beautiful blue pillars of light start shooting out everywhere in the Soul Society, and then they're like sitting there with like the little iPad. They're like, oh, is this a Quincy? Let me see, like the readings are coming through. Oh yeah, it's a Quincy. And then it starts like killing everyone. It's like, no bro, like, what do you think it is? Like, of course it's the Quincy. You know you're about to go to war any second, and these gigantic beams of light are coming through. Like, what do you think it is? So that was just, like, a little bit ridiculous, but, like, kind of funny. But then the big shocking moment is when Lieutenant Kira just gets absolutely, like, obliterated by the Stern Ritter Baz B. Like, that was crazy, and that's one of the major moments from the manga for me. I will never forget that part of it. Like I said, I forgot a lot of bits and pieces, but that was, like, one part that I definitely remember and won't ever forget, because that was like the biggest shock moment for me at the time. Because yeah, like losing Lieutenant Sasakibe was like a big deal for the Soul Society, but we didn't really get much interaction with him like at all. Like we never saw him or heard about him really, so like his death didn't really hit that hard. But like with Kira, like he's been like a major character. He's had a lot of screen time, he's had a lot of like development in different moments, so him getting blasted a gigantic hole through him and like through his arm was like a big deal. And I just remember just like my jaw being on the floor, and I was like absolutely shocked when that happened, because you're wondering like, is he dead? Like he has to be dead. Like that's crazy that he just like didn't even get to put up a fight. Like just the dude entering the Soul Society just killed him in a second, and you're just like, oh my gosh, he's just like blowing off the dude's heads, and they're like, we're here to purge all you Soul Reapers, and like you just know like shit is about to go down. Like that's how you know that, like, you know, punches aren't being pulled, people are gonna die, like everybody's up for grabs. Like you don't know what's going to happen, and when the stakes are that high, that makes every chapter that much more exciting in every episode. So I just remember that being such like a pivotal moment where you knew in this arc, you know, was going to be crazy. So yeah, this is another really good episode. I had a lot of fun. Again, the pacing is a little fast, the art and the animation, you know, I have to say, like, they're just absolutely killing it with the background art. All the different trees and everything going on in the background is done so well that it's almost like overshadowing the actual character art in some cases, because it's so beautiful. And the animation, you know, it comes and goes. Some parts seem a little bit stale, other parts don't, but you know, I think in the big moments it's really going to be there, like we've seen it be so far. But yeah, those are some really major moments. Another honorable mention moment was Uryu. I think they're fleshing that out a little bit more than it was in the manga, which I'm happy about, because I feel like they didn't do a really good job kind of with Uryu's character arc in the manga. manga, which is kind of weird considering it's about Quincy, but I feel like there wasn't enough time to really kind of flesh out his full story arc, so happy to see that they're kind of doing that, and I hope that they do a little better job in the anime than they did in the manga. But that was some interesting stuff about him learning about, you know, more about what's going on, and his father trying to like pretty much keep him away from it. So it'll be really interesting to see how that plays out. But if you stayed till the end, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed the video, do me a huge favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the episode, and I'll catch you on the next one.